Finishing chokes. Choking dudes out, choking them to sleep. Look, it's a great way to win fights. You cut off either the blood or the air supply to somebody's brain, and, you know, they go to sleep and you win. Typically, you can just get up, walk away, they'll wake up eventually, and, you know, life goes on. Here's some details about some blood and wind chokes. The rear naked choke is a blood choke. Ideally, I want to reach my arm in, like the crook of my bicep. I want that to be on Tom's Adam's apple. The reason being, my bicep blocks one carotid artery on this side, my forearm blocks the other carotid artery. So I want to get that V all up in here. Bam, that's a nice deep spot. That's a blood choke. Cutting off the carotid arteries, blood choke. So it doesn't matter whether the guy is wheezing for air or not, even if he is squeezing air into his lungs, it doesn't really matter because there's no blood flow to his brain. Now there's a big difference between blood and wind chokes. Think about it like this. If I cut off all blood flow to a guy's brain, his brain can't get any oxygen because there's nothing delivering oxygen, and he'll go to sleep immediately. If I cut off his wind supply, his blood will keep pumping through his body and through his brain, and eventually, since he's using that oxygen, his blood will like run out of oxygen, and then he won't have enough of it, and then his brain will not have enough of it, and then he'll go to sleep. So it takes a lot longer for that to happen. You can either stop the blood flow, which happens immediately, or you can slowly deplete the blood of oxygen because the guy can't breathe. Both of them are going to result in a knockout, but the blood choke is technically more effective for doing that. Typically, I'll end up taking a wind choke if I just can't get my arm in deep enough to get the blood choke. I'll go for the blood choke, I won't be able to get it, so I'll just clamp and I'll take my wind choke. But the blood choke's better. Wind chokes, like air chokes, are a little different. If I just take the part of my wrist just below my thumb, put it on his neck, and I catch my hand on the other side, and then pull my one elbow back, that's a wind choke. Really compresses his throat and just cuts off air. Blood choke, more effective. Push this all the way in, grab my bicep on this side. Now, having your hand on the back of his head does not make the choke any tighter, but it prevents him from headbutting me. Ah! Boom. And also, you know, potentially going for arm locks on this side.
Getting out of it.
Bam. You can get out of it, so Tom, this is the way out. So pass that arm across, and now he maybe turns into me and starts fighting. Oh God, nice arm bar.
Perfect world.
in the most perfect world. Or he might be able to just pull that thing down and push his chest forward. Ow, ow, ow.
Sorry.
All right, you get a nice little break out of that potentially if the guy's not paying attention. Don't let it happen. Push this across, grab the bicep, throw this on the back of the head. Now the next part is where the art of the choke kind of comes in. I don't really know if I'd call it an art, but way too many people try to do too much squeezing and too much of the work with their arms. What really makes this move effective is just by eliminating the space, like eliminating this lariat where the guy's head and neck would be. So let me see if I can make you see this. So right here, this hole right here, that's where the dude's head is. This is where his neck would be sticking out. Now what I want to do is I want to push my chest out and pull this in with my shoulder blades so that that space no longer exists. His neck is in there, so I completely make that space disappear by pulling my shoulders back, and then he can't breathe. It's not about squeezing this bullshit. That doesn't do anything. Well, it's not that it doesn't do anything, but really it's all about this movement. That's what finishes a choke. Shoulder blades back, chest pops out as the arms pull back. Now there is absolutely no space there. I've essentially crushed or collapsed all the space where Tommy's neck would be, and that is the rear naked choke. Slide through to here, catch both sides, grab the hand, pull back, chest out. Blood choke, or rather wind choke, bam. If I don't get this in all the way, look, this is ideal. If I can't fight it in all the way, I just clasp this, pull the one arm back. It's pretty much just as effective. It's not just as effective, but it works. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on rear naked chokes. Have fun, you know, handing out brief naps to your enemies or your friends.